Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack, where we have way too much fun when you're not watching us, apparently. My name is Donnie Reese, and tonight we record episode 151 of the Nintendo Shack podcast, where we talk about Mario 3D All-Stars and yet another Nintendo Direct. I feel like we've had like 9 Directs. We have another one to do. Before we get into that, let me introduce those that help and join me here each and every week. The lovely Garrett Bland. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm lovely now. Good. How are you?
It's doing good. It's doing good.
Good.
And
Thank
the
you.
face that runs the place, Miss Rebecca the Forest Minish. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Before we get into the Mario news, let me start the show by thanking everybody that helps keep the boat afloat over at patreon.com/PSVG. So thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh, the Bonesaw Borboni, Chris McElfresh, Devin Tias, Kyle Heyman, Michael Masick, The Egg Shin, Zach Bradshaw, Nick Fahaba, Paul Calicote, Rude Days 93, and Rob Emanuel. We're going to start the show like we do each and every week by getting to what we're playing. I'm going to pass because I haven't been playing anything at all, actually. I've been playing Xbox all week long, with the exception of a game that released today, but I'll save that for when we get into the news block. So,
Nice.
Garrett, why don't you tell me what you're playing?
Super quick. I'm still just playing Atelier.
What?
JRPG Comfort Food. Yeah, Atelier. Yeah.
Your favorite game,
Your
Donnie.
favorite JRPG. Yeah.
Terrorizing, a.k.a.
Terrorizing.
Triple H. I got it.
Yeah. Not much other than that. I've been playing other games as well. So super quick. I'll probably just tell more detail about that later because it's a long JRPG.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, the spotlight turns its big, bright attention to the star of the show.
I have been playing all the Mario that's ever existed.
You've had to hate it, right?
Right.
Like, God, it just must be torture for you.
Mario sucks, doesn't it?
I like Mario now, guys.
Oh,
Breaking
wow.
news.
Wow, just like
Breaking
PlayStation,
news.
folks. She's backpedaling too. Everybody's just rolling it back this week. That's just rollbacks at Walmart. Wow.
No. So I was very, very fortunate to be able to get a review copy for Twinfinite of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Part of the reason is because I have never played any of these 3 classic games before. I'm vaguely familiar with them. If you listen to the show, you know I'm not really a Mario person. I didn't grow up with it. So within the span of a week, from last Thursday to a couple days ago, I played and beat and experienced and did all the stuff for 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy.
That's a lot.
All the Mario.
That
Yeah,
is a lot.
I haven't been streaming. If you've been wondering why, where the heck I've been, it's because I can't stream that. I couldn't stream that. I had to play it in all of my free time.
On review.
And review, yeah. So it was, I say I had to play it. It was so much fun playing these games for the first time. Man, I have so many impressions of what it's like to play these games for the first time in 2020. They hold up.
Did
They
you
definitely hold up.
play portably and on the TV?
I did, yes. Yeah, for all 3 of them.
Good.
Mhm. And I know a lot of people probably, we do have lots of actually Mario questions today. I don't know if you want to get to them sooner or later. But I don't know. Do you want me to give my full, I can kind of give a summary of what I said in my review?
Let me set you
Sure.
up here. I was really proud of a lot of the reviewing influence journalist takes on this collection, because while I'm still extremely excited to play this tomorrow, might even stay up tonight and play it after I edit the show if it goes live at midnight. I 100% understand why people would want more, and I'm one of those people. I would expect more.
I gotta say this was a hard game to review because there was the balancing of these are some of Nintendo's best games ever, and yeah, they're still great versus
But
this
what,
is kind
what
of a
could they be And
half-hearted attempt at an anniversary collection.
what's the standard of re-releasing a game in a collection or a remaster, if you're even going to call it that? I was a little upset to see some of the Digital Foundry stuff that came out today, specifically frame rates. I don't understand why these games are locked at 30. That makes almost zero sense unless it is truly, we want to keep it at as close to the original experience as possible. But then that doesn't, I don't really like that idea, because if that was the case, then put it on Nintendo Switch Online. Right. They did update these games like 64 for all the things that we make fun of it. And I do think it's open game to make fun of it. They are improved. The textures are improved. The resolution is improved in Mario 64 greatly. From afar, maybe it doesn't look like it. If you put pictures side by side and you see what Mario 64 actually looked like, this looks way better. So
I will say the games, all three of them look beautiful. That is not my complaints at all. I think
That's good.
The visuals, they look really good. And it does look older. It does look like it came out of the Nintendo 64. But do you know how, like, when we remember the games that we played when we're younger, in our heads, they look a lot better than they actually were. If you actually go back and replay them, they didn't look good at all. The way they did Mario 64, especially, I think, is how people remember it in their heads to look. Which I think is the best way they could have done that.
I think you're right. I don't think it's the best way they could have done it, but I think you're right in terms of the premise of maybe what they were going for. So I appreciate I appreciate that some things were done. I wish they did more. I'm still really upset, and I think it's a huge fault that they did not make 64 widescreen. And at the very least, if they weren't going to do widescreen, then give us like some cool bumpers, like some fan service. I think that's kind of where I'm upset with this the most. There appears to be like no fan service from the reviews that I've read.
No enhancements.
There's no background. There's no interviews. There's no videos, commercials. There's nothing. And
it felt very
really
much
sucks.
like I was playing 64 on the virtual console. Like if they had taken Nintendo 64 virtual console and put it on the Switch, it felt very much like that. Which begs the question, well, why didn't they do that? And then why didn't they give it a full, because my problem is that these games deserve a full proper remaster, full proper remake, because these are the cream of the crop Nintendo games. Like even now, like playing it for the first time, I can see how well these games live up. There's that magic to be felt.
I'm
and
so
it's
happy
really
to
a
hear you
shame
say that.
because these games do deserve that modern polish. The camera in 64, it was so revolutionary in 1996. I get that. I grew up in that era too. I understand that for sure. It doesn't hold up in 2020. We're so spoiled by the fully rotating camera in Odyssey. And to not have that in a re-release of the game, to me...
Or like at least an option of it, right?
Dated. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's not on par. I mean, Romain's in chat bringing up these amazing collections like SNK 40th Samurai Shodown. I'll bring up Rare Replay. They're like chock full of this stuff. And the thing that I was always hoping for, and I am so happy that you've got to experience these, and I think
it's still worth it.
Oh, absolutely, because the games, a good game isn't like lessened by the fact that it's not as good a remaster. I think that's where the rubber meets the road here. Is Mario 64 is still the iconic Mario 64 that it always was. It's just not as great a remaster as other remasters are, and that's where, again, just to reiterate, I'm happy that I was happy to see 6s and 7s. Because I think it's okay to love something to death and totally roll over on your own premises for it because you love it, because of nostalgia. You can go, I can't wait, I'm so excited. And then also fairly be critical in your judgment.
And yeah, it's tough because the games themselves at the time of the release were 9s out of 10s, 10s out of 10s, the very best that they could be at their time. But when we're seeing that in 2020 as a remaster for the 35th anniversary, they're hyping this up and making it this shiny new package. It does make me wish that they did go that extra mile because, like I said, it's what the games deserve.
I think definitely for Mario 64 and Sunshine definitely deserve it. But man, that Galaxy, that looks really good.
They gave Galaxy the most love. There's 3 different controls for it.
That's so
that
cool.
one. I wish that what they did with Galaxy, I wish they did with the first 2 games, because if they did that, I don't think we would be seeing this, this discourse about it. For sure. They did put a lot more love into that one, which is to me a little bit funny because I feel like it needed it the least.
Right.
Because that game is still pretty on Wii. just because of the art style. It's still really pretty, and I was happy to see that. I know Sean in particular, who's in the chat, he was pretty upset about the controls and the lack of options and the lack of what he concedes to be just modern expectations.
Yeah, the thing that I know, especially for him, was in Super Mario Sunshine, and me and Sean are actually a little bit flipped for this. I own Mario Sunshine. I've had that game for years, and I've tried to get into it, and the reason why I couldn't was because of the inverted controls. It didn't click with me. I couldn't do it. So I never really got that far in that game. In the remaster, or I should say the 3D All-Stars collection, they've reversed that. So now it's normal controls. It's no longer inverted, which is great for people like me. But then you have the whole camp of people who did prefer the inverted controls who are now at a loss, just like how I was for the original one. And it seems just so, it boggles my mind that today that they would not include that as a standard option in the game, that you can go into options and just flip a button for it.
Especially when we see that they included these sorts of things on Wii U Virtual Console, on SNES Classic. They had wrappers, they had borders, they had save states, they have button configuration.
Save states is another thing.
They've done all this. It's been done. So why not include it here? And
it does feel like a very half-hearted celebration of the 35th anniversary.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because of, again, the shelf that these games sit on. And the thing that I've always said is when you release a 3D All-Stars, the reason I wanted it to be called that is because I think Mario All-Stars is the definitive way to play the majority of those games. I've said it forever. The best way to play Mario 3 is to play it through Mario All-Stars. I want this to be the same. I still think it is. I do think that the Switch's way, just because it's on Switch versus other consoles, I think gives it a leg up. The fact that it's HDMI, people will be able to stream these games better than ever before.
Yes.
They won't have to pirate them. There are a lot of built-in advantages that I will give them credit for. But Garrett, you're spot on. It's barely the definitive way. That's the best way of putting it. It's barely the definitive way to play these games.
I really think what they've done with this port or whatever, they send it to an intern over the summer. It's like, yeah, make these games work on Switch. Because you say, they gave a lot of love to Galaxy, but they had to do that for NVIDIA Shield, as Donnie said, in China. So they literally just had to bring these ROMs over and just make them work on Switch.
Touch them up, yeah.
Well, which brings up something, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Rebecca, but I mean, a lot has been said to the fact that these are emulated, that these have emulations, and they are basically ROMs running an emulation. And people take that a lot of different ways. Several people are looking at that as hope, that we might have more GameCube upreses, and that would be awesome. I would pay $20 to play Star Fox kind of upres on Switch for sure. There are some things that they would get me to bite because of the GameCube is so rare. And it's not SNES. We don't have a million different ways to play those games. So I would be excited for that. I don't look at that as hope, though. I think they use emulation to put these games on because that's the easiest path to development. What are they going to do? Rebuild these game codes for Switch? No. We're going to get an emulator and put these ROMs on here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people hear the word emulator and they freak out about it. But, I think that these releases for 3D All-Stars is if, and I said this in my review as well, so I'm kind of echoing it, for anybody who's read it already. This collection, I think, is for three people, for collectors, hardcore Mario collectors, for people who are new, like me, who have never played one or more of them before.
Tons of people. These games are 25 years old.
Or for people who maybe grew up with these games and haven't played them lately and want to relive that magic again from their childhoods. If you are going into this and, you've played these games a lot and you are hoping for something different or new or flashy or fancy, it's probably not for you. You're not going to find anything new or different here.
Now, we all get our pound of flesh. So I'm going to say it again. I can't freaking wait to play these games tomorrow.
Still get hyped.
I'm so excited. I have been excited 6 months ago when it was leaked that the Mario 64 wasn't going to be the HD treatment we wanted. What did I say then? Don't care. Still going to play it. I absolutely love Mario 64. That's amazing. You know what this is doing? Saving me from digging out my SNES Classic or my N64 or getting something on a ROM and figuring out how to make the shaders work and asking Garrett for help. I don't have to do any of that. I just buy the game and I play it on my Switch. So I'm still all here for it. And guess what? If you're like, you're part of the problem, you're right. I am. That's okay.
I don't like that mentality because you buy the games that you like and you want to play. That's not a problem to me. I hate that phrasing.
Well, I think the point is if we didn't buy them, then that would encourage them to maybe do better, which I appreciate. But that's such like a wishy-washy statement, because
Right.
I could also say that because we buy them, they've shown that they've done enough.
You like the fact that they're doing a remaster,
Right.
to
Like,
begin
we're
with.
actually
Yeah.
buying them, so Nintendo has done enough to warrant our purchase. That's ultimately what we always want, is we want these companies to warrant us buying a product. And Nintendo's done it by just this minimal amount of effort.
That's true.
That's the power of IP.
It
Yeah.
is true.
Now, if you guys really want 4K, 60 frames, or unlimited frames, just let me know. We can hook you up, or I can hook you up.
You know, that's something that I wish was brought up in more reviews. A lot of reviews cite what these emulators can do. They can unlock the camera, they can unlock the frames, they can do all these things. And it's like, well, then point people to that if they want that option. That option, it's not like that option doesn't exist. Would it be
I would
nice for
rather-
Nintendo to adopt it? Sure. But it's not like you can't, you can still do that.
I would
Yeah.
rather see new changes in the form of new content or quality of life fixes, things that aren't already being done.
I would have liked to see some of the Giga League stuff, like just fun stuff like that. I would have loved to have seen like some, like some Iwata ass type things, just maybe
Yeah.
photos or something like that. The original N64 commercial, something like that to just kind of make, and again, something as simple as wrappers. We're talking about a JPEG, an overlay, right? I could have made them, Nintendo. You could have just asked me. I've done it for free. I wouldn't even have wanted
A
credit.
lot of games, a lot of games that are ported to the Switch have that.
I think that is itself just kind of shows you the investment that they made in this, and it's not much. It's not much, but it still doesn't take away that it's three
There's
amazing
still
games.
3 amazing games, absolutely. We do have 2 quick questions about Mario while we are on the topic of it.
Sure.
Boss Beater Gaming wants to know, will 3D All-Stars Mario 64 solve the L is real mystery? As soon as I booted up that game, I went back to check. You cannot read it. It is still a blurry little mess. We have still not solved the L is real mystery. Luigi is not in the game. So
I can't wait to run around
Spoiler.
that courtyard and do flips off the trees and slide down the hill into the water.
it's
It'll
fun
be
stuff.
magical.
Ravenserd wants to know what each of our favorite games are included on the 3D All-Stars collection.
64.
I've only played one. It's Galaxy, so
So
I think
you're
Galaxy's
looking
the
for
best
two.
game. If I had to offer, it's the best
yeah.
game.
So I kind of agree with you, Johnny, for different reasons. I think 64 is the best game of all of the 3 because just from the level design, I think they really perfected it from the start. I had the most fun playing Galaxy.
Galaxy was kind of the return to form from 64 that had been that long. And Galaxy, I've always said that Galaxy, and that it is a shame that Galaxy 2 isn't here, because Galaxy was really kind of revolutionary. Might not be the right word, because I'm sure there are other games that did it, but the way Nintendo did it with Mario and an IP and how many people was exposed to it, they kind of changed the formula for platforming and for Mario. It's people are not going to like this. It's kind of the Breath of the Wild effect that Zelda has on the series. Galaxy kind of had that effect on Mario, I think, at least as somebody who was there day one with a Wii. I was ecstatic to play Mario. I was like, look at Galaxy. We've never seen anything like this before. It's blowing my mind.
I don't think I would have liked Galaxy as much if I had played it on the Wii because I enjoyed it the most playing it with a Pro Controller.
Interesting.
I do not think I would have liked it with a pointer. Mm-mm.
Sure.
It was kind of a struggle for me with the motion.
Yeah, but I will say the controls in Galaxy, they did a really good job with adapting it to the Switch.
Good.
My 2 favorite ways to play are with the Pro Controller and handheld was not bad either.
Nice.
I think Galaxy 2 was the best game. It has incredible level design and enemy design, but Galaxy 1 was the most novel. It was the most refreshing.
Yeah.
And compare them to by games, I think Galaxy's a better game, but Mario 64 is the iconic game. That's the one. That's the special one. That's the Super Mario World of the 3D Mario games. That's the one. So
I will say I do not understand all of the hate that Sunshine gets. I don't think it stands out as much as the other 2. I almost feel like Sunshine is an extension of 64. I liked the levels. The one thing I didn't like about it was how you had to go in order. You couldn't really pick and choose which levels to do the way that you could with 64. It was very much, okay, you have to be the first 7 in each world. in order to move on. I didn't like the levels that Flood got taken away because they're challenging. I am not a good platformer. Anyone who has seen me play platforming games, I'm horrible at them. So that was tough for me. But for people who like the challenge, I think it would be fun for them. I don't think it deserves the hate it gets.
I'm not gonna hate on it. I mean, I don't like particularly enjoy it. I think it's a good Mario game, but that's kind of all I think it is. I don't think it's a special Mario game. I don't think it's an iconic Mario game. I don't think it really does anything outside of the setting and the graphics, which in GameCube time was important. And I've seen some of the footage for this one, and it's really, really nice. So I will boot it up. I don't know if I actually have any desire to actually try to replay all of Sunshine again.
The levels didn't feel quite as inspired to me as 64's did. There were a couple of them that really stood out that I really liked. Overall, probably not so much. I did like the Flood mechanics though, because I didn't have to fall as much with Flood. I could propel myself and not fall.
Nice.
And that's why I like Galaxy too. You don't really fall in that game.
Nice.
It's easy.
Anything else on Mario?
That's it. Go read my review if you want more.
Read a review. That's awesome. You got to review it. Congrats.
Oh my gosh, I feel so
I'm so
happy.
excited. Like I said, it's 9:30. Usually I edit the show until 11:30. We have 15-minute post-show chat. I'm probably going to boot it up and play a little bit tonight. And then I'm going to get the
Treat
kids.
yourself.
I'm going to get the kids up together and we're going to play it tomorrow. And I already told you my wife loves Mario 64. It's the first game she ever played because I bought it for her 16th birthday. So it's nostalgic. It has, all of our puppy love time memories for her and everything. So we're going to go rescue that baby penguin and we're going to go slide down that damn slide. We're going to do it. So let's kick off this week in Nintendo and let's get into today's news. Guys, we had another Nintendo Direct, a partner Direct Mini to be exact. As we've been alluding to for quite some time, that there were more games to announce, and boy, were they.
It was so good.
Is this the best Direct we had?
I think so, this year.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. It kicked off the show with Monster Hunter Rise, which is out March 26th. Garrett, you put down some info here for me.
Yeah, so I watched the Monster Hunter Direct afterwards as well. So Monster Hunter Rise, a brand new Monster Hunter game. It's not like a sequel to Monster Hunter World or anything. It's a brand new game coming to Switch. It looks so good.
Incredible.
I'm not even a Monster Hunter fan, but it looks really good.
Right? I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't even like Monster Hunter. They started showing it and I was like,
Yeah. It looked on par with Monster Hunter World, which just shocks me. Probably the biggest difference in this game now is actually the traversal. So now that you have what's called a wire bug, and this works kind of like a swing or like a hook shot where you can like move up a lot vertically, which is kind of different than what you see a lot in Monster Hunter games. Normally you run a lot on the ground and then you have to climb through the vines, and it was pretty slow. But this looks much faster, and I'm glad that they're trying this out. They also introduced wall running, and also the new thing is the canine unit. You got a new doggo. You got puppies in this game.
Can you pet the dog?
I was just gonna ask.
I think you can pet the dog.
That's
they
important.
better.
And it's called Palamute, and it can also run on walls. And actually, you don't need to use it. If you use it, you don't run out of stamina. So it's not like you run in and then you have to walk a little bit and then you have to run. It's like you get on the dog and you just run. So they were really thinking about the traversal in this new game. And there are two editions, of course. There's a standard edition and then a deluxe edition that'll include DLC. That'll probably be extra missions, extra monsters, stuff like that. And there's 3 new amiibo: the cat, the dog, and the monster.
They look so good. I want them. I don't even like Monster Hunter, but I want those amiibo.
And they're GameStop exclusive. So go for it.
The second thing we got. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oh, no. It's the compatible. So there's also what they mentioned is they have compatibility features with the other Monster Hunter game that they mentioned in this Direct, Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I don't know what that could be. Maybe sharing monsters.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Something like that.
Something like that. And then you can pre-order now, digitally.
So good, and not that far away. It was pretty like somewhat close announcement compared to what typically we can get announcements a year or two away. This one's coming up shortly soon. It did leak out ahead of time, but only like a couple of screenshots and images. If anything, I think it just kind of hyped the announcement for it to come, and like I said, in motion, it looked great. I was completely, I want to say, kind of shocked that we are getting Monster Hunter Stories 2, which was the next announcement. I played it on 3DS. I did not finish it like I, seldom do. I'm not a Monster Hunter player, but all of the reviews for this was like, if you've never gotten into Monster Hunter, try Stories. And I did, and I kind of liked it. It's
really good.
It's kind of like Zelda in a Pokemon game, kind of. And it actually had a really cool, like, good looking art style for 3DS. And this game looked great. From the get-go, when they started showing, I was like, whoa. Wow, because it was like, it's different, right? It's more anime, it's more
different art
chibi,
style too,
but it still looks fantastic. And I was just really surprised. It's like, here's a Monster Hunter game. Oh, and another Monster Hunter game. I was like, when does this happen? Like, oh my God. So I was kind of stunned. And at first, I thought it was a port because they're so close to each other. So at first I was, you guys see me in the Discord, I'm like giving you my live thoughts as I have them. And I'm like, I won't be there day one on a port, but maybe. And they were like, Monster Hunter 2. And they started showing all the new stuff. I was like, retract those statements. I'm pretty excited about one. I think that one's going to be really, really good.
Now, before we go on, I have a question because I've been seeing a lot of people talk about how Monster Hunter usually gets some kind of special edition or, even if it's Japan exclusive. And I've seen a lot of people talking about how this March 26th kind of lines up with the end of March, that it could be something having to do with new Switch hardware. What were your thoughts on that?
It could be.
Possible. Yeah. No,
that's an exact date.
Do we already have a Monster Hunter doc?
Oh.
Am I thinking of something else?
Maybe
I don't know if there was a dock.
Okay.
To be honest with you. There's a 3DS XL for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely. I think there's a couple 3DS designs, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a dock though, because they just did a port of the 3DS Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, so. I remember that. I feel like I have a dock like picture in my head, and I don't know if there was a thing, but I feel like there was a dock.
Bobby said there was a dock in Japan.
Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that. Thank you for the assist, my man. So yeah, it's very possible that because here's the thing, Monster Hunter.
That game's so popular in Japan.
Monster Hunter sells big numbers, big numbers. Monster Hunter is going to sell a lot. So
I think this will sell a lot.
They would, and that's what I mean. Like I see people saying they would be foolish not to do some kind of special edition or special console for it. If they didn't announce it, could that mean Pro?
That early?
And that's the kind of game that you would want on the Pro.
That's a good idea. Let's save that talk for a little bit later.
And it
looks good. Fitness Boxing 2 was announced.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's about right. Yeah, I was like, why? It must have sold really well. Like,
cool.
Wait,
I feel like that was popular before Ring Fit came out. And now that Ring Fit came out, people don't really care about that anymore.
Well, the Fitness Boxing, isn't there also ports for like VR for that? Or am I just thinking different?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Disgaea 6 coming out summer 2021 as a limited time console exclusive. Spider-Man on PS4. You get Spider-Man in the game.
Oh, okay. DLC.
Disgaea 5 gets a free-to-play trial for everybody that subscribes to Nintendo Switch Online for September 23rd to 29. Garrett, for folks that don't know what Disgaea is, tell them.
It is a wacky strategy RPG, tactical RPG. Go in, if you're going into it, it's not like Fire Emblem. It's very cartoony, very anime-like. The characters are... I think it's just mediocre in general, right? You're not going to get invested in the characters or in the emotion. It's a very light game. And also kind of different than Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem, you want to make sure your characters are well reserved. You want to block them very well. Whereas in Disgaea, it's more about combos and more about you have to stack 3 or 4 or 5 people together and do these certain strategies to do these ultimate outrageous number of attacks on these enemies. There's different terrain levels. These are super long games too. So try them out if you're a strategy tactical RPG fan like myself. It's a good game. But I think it's hard to get into, I think. But I'm looking forward to Disgaea 6. I want to see how that is.
Good. I am not, but I am interested in Empire of Sin, which is a turn-based strategy game from John Romero, who's from, if I remember the E3 thing, he's like the Doom Quake guy from like back in the day. He was like one of the founders of that whole thing. So he's doing Romero games now, and this is his new thing. I love Mafia stuff. Have all of those movies. So absolutely, like, just the kind of the setting and the theme, I was like, oh, this looks great. And then when I started seeing like it's XCOM-ish type stuff, I was like, oh, this looks a lot of fun. They announced today in the Direct that it was pre-order. They didn't give you a date. We found out afterwards that it is coming December 1st, if memory serves. I didn't write it down, but I think it's December 1st. So I thought this game had kind of, fallen out of the year. I'd been kind of writing this one off for some time, so it was a pleasant surprise to see it again. I think it looks great. I hope it has some of like the I really like the Godfather games, like on Wii. I know it's like a deep cut, but I love the games where you're the mafia person and you're like trying to take over the city. So I hope they have some of that stuff too, like some city building elements in there. Because I like taking over strongholds, and safe houses and rackets and getting VIGs from the guy at the deli and stuff like that. Like, all that's good fan service for me. So I hope some of that's in there. Sniper Elite 4 was announced for Nintendo Switch. It is out this holiday. I think It's cool that Switch is getting this game. I don't think this game looked great at all. Like what they showed, I was like, that looks rough.
I don't even remember what it looked like.
It looked pretty rough. It looked like a modern big game being ported to Switch.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like.
Polygon.
Hades is out today from Supergiant Games. It's what, $20, right? $19.99?
$20 right now.
$20.
It's a discount, yeah.
That's when you like Garrett, right?
It's really good. I love the developer, Supergiant Games. It's a roguelike game, so just go in there knowing that if you like roguelites, this is the game for you. And you love Supergiant. It's a fantastic game. Yeah,
I heard it's really, really hard.
It's hard. Like you're not gonna beat it like in the first 10 runs or something like that.
Okay.
That's the problem with roguelites for me, is that I get stuck in a certain place and I can never just like get past that. I can never get past that barrier. And I know people have a lot of persistence in those games, like Dead Cells and stuff like that. So just go in there. If $20 is like, is like a good entryway for you, if you love Supergiant Games, try it out. It's really, really good. I love the combat too. They really did refine the combat compared to Bastion a lot. So I enjoy it.
Fancy Film in the chat says it's amazing. So that's another recommendation you got there. Balan Wonderworld is coming out this spring. We've seen this game before. Anybody have any special thoughts about this one?
It looked rough. I thought, no, I'm being serious. Like when I was seeing this, I'm like, is this really how this is running on Switch? It just looked bad to me. I don't know. I wasn't too excited for this one.
The first time we saw it, I was thinking that it was like early and thinking it would be a while.
Yeah.
And then they showed this and I was like, oh, that's the game.
It's right around the corner.
Never mind. Rune Factory 5 is out next year, 2021. I know this is going to be dismissive to the fans that really like those games. I swear to you, the thing that hit me when this game showed up, I was like, do we get one of these like every Direct? Like, I feel like I've seen 15 of these games. Like, I don't know if it's the same game or if they're different games, but I just feel like we have a lot of these games.
It's a pretty big series.
Right. Rune Factory 4, the special edition, got re-released on Switch. It was on 3DS. So that's what you're seeing.
This is the one that's been coming.
This is the sequel. This is the new game built for Switch.
I got you. Okay. I knew that was dismissive. I know people weren't going to like it here, but I mean, I can only be honest. Like, that was what I was thinking. I was like, again?
Please be excited.
Jeff Grubb's special, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, is announced for Nintendo Switch, and it's out today. Right away.
Blow my mind.
I never knew.
We teased poorly that that
We
Jeff Grubb
told.
Jeff Grubb told us after our show that we had almost 2 months ago now, right? 6 weeks or something
Been
like
a
that.
while.
That Ori and the Will of the Wisp was coming to Switch. He was like, "You guys want a little takeaway?" And he said it, and you guys saw it because it was off air.
Oh yeah.
Freaked out.
I almost jumped out of my chair.
What
I
a
was
mistake.
losing my mind.
And there it is.
I know people know that I like Ori. I know that they know that because the first Ori came to Switch. Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Ori 2, blows the first Ori out of the water. And I liked the first Ori. Like when Ori 1 came out, I was like, this is a great platformer. If it was on Nintendo, people would love it. And then Ori 2 was like, yeah, that game sucks. Like, this game is amazing. Ori and the Will of the Wisp is, and I look, this is not hyperbole. This isn't hype. I've said it. I've sat on it. I've lived with this opinion, and I believe it. My favorite platformer of all time.
That's big.
I love Nintendo games. Like, think about what that means. I have never felt more accomplished reaching the end of a platformer than I did Ori the Will of the Wisps. I never felt like it was too hard that I couldn't do it. But at the same time, there were moments when I was playing the game that I was incredibly impressed with what I was actually doing. I was like, oh my God, like, look at all this stuff I've done. It has an emotional story. It has incredible music. It is beautiful.
You're convincing me.
Absolutely bought this game. Everybody that has heard me all year knows that until this point, up until now, Ori and the Will of the Wisp is my game of the year.
Donnie, they gotta hire you to advertise.
It's
this
my
game, I'm
favorite
telling
game.
you.
Like it's my favorite.
You're convincing. You're
It's my
convincing
favorite
me to
game of
go
the
buy it
generation.
right
When it
now.
came out, I was like, "This is Xbox's best exclusive. It's their best game." And
I
people
think
are like,
Donnie will
"That's
buy it for you, Rebecca.
it's ridiculous."
He actually will if you
I
say that.
absolutely love it, and I wish more people did. I wish more people stuck with it because it's really, really good. If you like the Metroidvanias, if you like platformers, there's such a rich, like, dense thing here for you, and I truly adore it. Is it going to be my game of the year? Who knows? Still got to play Cyberpunk, but nothing's beat it yet. This game had me. So the first time I ever played Ori, I stopped playing it to play other things, and when I came back to it, you can't play Ori that way. It teaches you so much muscle memory with all the controls. Ori is one of the few games that I've ever said makes you use the entire controller. It's not a 3-button game.
Okay.
You can't A and B your way out of this. You're going to use every trigger. You're going to use every trigger and combo with every button. You're going to use both sticks, and you're going to use them all like interchangeably, not in this section and you never use it again. It builds and layers on tactic after tactic after tactic after tactic. And before it's over, like 6 hours goes by and you're doing all this kind of stuff. And I just wonder if people like stop to realize what the game has taught you in a way that like people appreciate Mario. Like so many people have talked about Mario, you walk and then you jump over the gap and it teaches the player to jump. It's like Ori does that to a million, to an insane level. It does that. And I just appreciate the design of the game for that. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I absolutely bought it today. I wanted to buy the collector's edition that was announced.
Yeah.
Piper wanted to know if you're getting it.
I would love to. Here's the problem. I don't want to buy 2 copies of the game. I already have it on Xbox, and I bought this special edition of that. So I already have a box copy of the game. It's not as good as this one. I didn't want to have 2 physical copies of the game, but I probably would have if it included a digital code that I could play today. The problem was I wanted to play it today because I wanted to tell you about it on the podcast. And I didn't want to buy it digitally today and then buy it physical and wait for it to come in December. Those collector's editions will ship out until December. So I was like, and it's like $150.
The stained glass
That's a lot of money.
art.
It
and
looks
the
great.
pin
It looks
and
amazing.
The art book. Oh my god, you need that stuff.
Okay, so I'm hard on Switch ports. I'm going to tell you that this is it's real good. It's a good port. I do have issues, or at least things to point out. Not that they're issues to me. I played through the intro. I played through the intro area and like the first little area after that before we jumped on the podcast today. The game in the foreground, like your character, the characters you interact with, everything, the level, the footing that you're on, everything in the foreground, super sharp as can be, looks great, detailed. The background gets real muddy, especially in motion. And it's something that I noticed. Like I noticed instantly. I was like, oh, that's a shame. Now, did I expect it to run 4K 60? No. Does it totally run 60 frames a second? It absolutely does. Did I run into any hitching or frames? Nope. No slowdown at all.
Still, yeah,
it
still
was a completely
magical.
smooth experience. And that's saying something. Ori had a hard time running on Xbox. They had to patch that game for weeks. It's an intensive game. I actually played it on PC because of all of the reports from the reviews. And I also want to play it in ultra wide. Ori's a beautiful lake. Yeah, you want to make it as big as you can. But that doesn't take away. It's $30 for one of my favorite games of this generation of games. I mean, $30 seems like a steal for me. Like, I'm going to pay $60 for a Mario game that came out 25 years ago. Like, it's incredible. So, yes, I was very excited when Jeff Grubb told me. I know I teased and hyped it up a lot. I know people out there might be like, well, we knew it was going to come, Donnie. That's not true. If you're an Ori fan and you follow Ori news, Microsoft went on a marketing campaign when Ori 2 came out to abundantly say it wasn't coming. Jeff Greenberg, go look him up. You just go type in not Jeff Greenberg. I'm thinking Jeff Grubb.
Aaron Greenberg.
Aaron Greenberg, Ori the Will of the Wisps. And he talks about how they're not going to publish their games on other consoles. They're focused on Game Pass. I think he says Ori and the Will of the Wisps is not coming to Nintendo Switch. And he lied. You can say that he lied. I don't think it's that simple. And I think
you can work your way around it.
Well, I think there's extenuating circumstances. Well, one, a publisher reserves the right to lie to us. Sometimes
it's all because they want you to buy it on Xbox first, and then
sometimes
then
they want to preserve the surprise. But to be honest, I think the real story here, and people may think I'm giving Microsoft an excuse. Maybe they are. Maybe I am. But I think the real behind the scenes stuff here is that Moon Studios that makes Ori is not a first party publisher with Microsoft. They actually signed a new deal with they left.
Mm-hmm. And for a long time I misunderstood that. So it's important that people know that.
I don't think we'll have another Ori 3. I don't think Moon Studios is going to do Ori again. And I think that might have more to do with Microsoft thinking, then we're going to put it somewhere else because we're going to make more money off of this, because I think Microsoft was hoping that Moon Studios was going to join the team. They're on studio acquisition mode. I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people have been predicting that Moon Studios would have joined the Microsoft family.
I thought it was a first party, to be honest with you.
And a lot of people did. And when they signed with Private Division, I think people were caught off guard. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Why? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have more to do with this coming to Switch than not. But even if they lied to me, I don't care. I'm happy to give them the pass.
Whatever.
I absolutely love this game. I've bought it twice. You should buy it. Get Game Pass. Get on Switch. I don't care. Buy it twice. Buy the collector's edition. Get a plush. Do all the
Play
things.
on PC. Yeah.
The thing that I've always said, and I'm going to say it again, I'm going to beat this dead horse. I know people, they already know what I'm about to say. I'm sorry. If Nintendo made Ori would be a big deal. Nintendo fans would adore Ori. They would put it up on a pillar of Nintendo's greatest platformers. They talk about how great it is if they did it. But because Xbox did it, and Xbox players typically, right, the stereotype, don't play games like Ori, falls on deaf ears. And I think it's criminal because like Hollow Knight is with Metroid, like Ori is with platformers. Like Ori is incredible.
Isn't Ori also a Metroidvania as well?
Sort of, yeah. Kind of. It kind of is, but not like Hollow Knight is. Not like that.
Yeah,
But there's a world. You explore it. You do kind of go in somewhat linear fashion. There is minor backtracking, but it's not really backtracking. It's more like the original Metroid, where you'll get abilities as you collect things that let you double jump or triple jump or glide, and then you can access other areas. But all said and done, I mean, it is kind of linear is not the right word. But so, yeah, it is Metroid. To answer the question, it is a Metroidvania, but I think it's like Metroidvania Light, maybe, might be the best way of describing. It's not, there is that to it. It's not the sole focus, I guess is the better way of putting it. Like an Axiom Verge or a Hollow Knight is, where you're constantly going back and forth and making the map and everything.
Exploring, Yeah,
it's not all of that. So I was so hyped, and I immediately had all of the gifts for Jeff Grubb, and I jumped in a server, and I was like, finally, we have our day. And he was like, I'm so happy for you. And oh God, I love it. I freaking love it. And hopefully I'll pick up one of those collector's editions one day on eBay from somebody who, I don't know, falls on hard times or something. Boy, let's see here. We were 50 minutes.
Yeah.
We have a lot of news.
What do you want to do?
Way too much Ori news.
Okay.
Let's get us out of here. I don't want to say get us out of here. That's not right. But let me see if I can't speed this up a bit.
Sure.
So Nintendo had that special management briefing. 100%, I was way wrong. Nobody retired. None of that at all. This was like their normal management briefing. And they basically said that they're just going to have these going forward whenever they see fit. They normally paired it with their earnings things, which is why I was like, this is different, because it was. And they were like, change your mind. So Donnie was wrong. They did reveal that the online service for Switch has 26 million paid users.
Oh my gosh.
That is $20 a year from 26 million people.
It's like, yeah, here's your $20. It's like, we got a lot of money now.
We're all
This is a
We're all
great idea. Somebody at Nintendo was like, looked up and they're like, for Super Nintendo games?
Yeah.
For very few Super Nintendo games, all right?
They're like, hey, we got the N64 stuff. They're like, no, hold on.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, that'll be another $20 in a couple years.
There are now over 200 million Nintendo accounts in the world.
Jeez.
Give you a little reach there. That's pretty cool. They have more.
I read somewhere, I don't know where I read it, Mario Kart Tour, was it? I think had a lot to do with those Nintendo accounts.
They had a lot of people sign up for that one.
A lot, yeah, like the average player type thing. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, damn it, Nintendo. They have visual content expansions. They have movies.
What does that even mean?
They're working on movies and
my God.
TV series, but
Can you just say movies like shows? Like
no, visual content
not
expansions.
expansions from what?
There's a Super Mario animated movie by Illumination slated for 2022 release.
All right.
Are you guys excited about that? Are you excited to go see a Mario movie?
I need to see a preview.
Yeah, I hear Illumination and I think Minions, and
is that Minions? Okay.
Think about how they're gonna turn like Toads or something into Minions, and it scares me.
I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, me too.
You actually just gave me a reason to go see it. I'm like, oh, I'm here for that.
Oh, I hear that Toad voice, and just like millions of them across the room.
Oh, Toad is my least favorite character in all of video
You need to
games.
play Paper Mario.
I do not need to.
adorable.
Oh, I hate his voice. I hate everything about Toad. If they're the new Minions, I'm not there.
If you like visual content expansion, Nintendo confirmed that they are working on an integrated hardware-software gaming system.
Oh, so a console.
President Furukawa said Switch business is midway through its life cycle and that they are preparing a number of software to come out for the system. And their R&D investment, this is actually interesting. R&D previously used to look at conventional tech that enabled a lower price to appeal to users. But now R&D is looking at cutting-edge technology. Look at how intuitive it is for users, and battery life is important given the playtime sessions of Switch players, 5 to 6 hours. Our data suggests that the Switch hasn't fully fulfilled demand yet. Switch sales are likely to gain further momentum at the year end. We know they're working on a new console. Do you like hearing that? Cutting edge technology. Maybe Donnie was wrong again. Maybe they are about to try and sell a $500 Switch.
I would be down with that too.
Maybe they got an SSD in 4K. Like maybe they do. That's a surprising statement. I think that's something I don't want to like read too much into it, but
yeah,
that wouldn't be in there for no reason, right? Like just for fluff.
I'm just happy for the battery life. Like they understand that the battery life needs to be a little bit better.
Especially if it's going to be. Mm-hmm.
So can't wait.
The MPD also released, and if you guys even wondered to know, Nintendo just had the biggest selling MPD for August ever.
It's impressive.
Not this gen, not this past 5 years, ever.
We're suckers. Oh my gosh.
What was it about August? Like I would expect it to be earlier this year when all the Animal Crossing stuff was hitting.
Well, isn't it like August, like probably like the lower activity of like video games, especially for Nintendo, like hardware wise and like in general?
Typically the summer has always kind of been, like less activity. More people are outside, more people are home, more people like go on vacation, stuff like that. But I don't know, but that's what it is. They did it. So
okay.
Congratulations, Nintendo.
Nintendo added Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest, Mario Super
It's
Picross.
Diddy's Kong, and I got corrected for it.
Diddy's Conquest.
And I never realized the pun in Conquest there. So
There we go.
I
The-
learned.
The Peacekeepers, and then on NES we got Scat Special Cybernetic Attack Team.
Whatever that is. Guys, Donkey
the
Kong
hell?
Country 2. Donkey Kong Country 2. It has I thought about this a little bit in thinking about my childhood memories. It is probably my favorite SNES game. Out of all the SNES games I've tried, it was just not much. It is my favorite, and the soundtrack is just spot on. Like
I do hear a lot
title
of people
song.
say that the second one they enjoyed more than the first.
It's really good.
100%. Yes.
I can play it.
It was
Go
big
play it.
when it came out. I do remember that. And again, I don't have any stones to throw at Nintendo Switch Online. I think I'm over Super Nintendo stuff for now. It's like I've had a lot of it for the last 5 years, so I'm kind of like I need a break. I'm good.
Cool.
So I would like to see anything else. More trials, demos, something else. Do anything
N64.
else. Mario 35 was a start, and then they were like, but we're taking it away from you.
Oh, Ken, we need to.
It hurts. It hurts every time you
Right.
hear it, right? They're like, look at this amazing game. You're like, I'll give you so much money. And they're like, no, you won't. You're like, why?
So sad.
Nintendo 3DS has been officially discontinued 9 years after the handheld hit the
So
market
sad.
in 2011. All 6 models of the 3DS family, the 3DS, the 3DS XL, the new 3DS, the new 3DS XL. Remember when
All the
people said
names.
Xbox was part?
I know,
the
right?
2DS and the new 2DS XL,
Which I have, and it's great.
all discontinued. Pour one out for old 3DS. What a great system.
Fantastic.
It has a huge library. If you don't have a 3DS or any of the family yet, go get one while you can. There's so many games on there from over the years.
I saw on Nintendo that they have refurbished 3DS, 2DS systems all across the board.
You'll be able to get one. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it'll
Yeah.
become rare or hard to
On
get by
eBay,
any.
they're in
No, no,
stores
no.
and stuff.
But man, that's what a console.
I
So
suggest
many
you
memories
do
of that.
what I did. I paid $100 and I had somebody install the entire library
Donnie,
of
I can do that
3DS
for you.
on my 3DS. It's amazing. It
I could have
takes
done that for you. Okay.
Garrett, it takes 2 minutes for it to load.
I know. That's why I didn't do it and paid $100 for it.
When you boot it up, it just flickers for like 2 minutes as it like installs everything and then it turns on. But it's a great system to remember, and it was one that I think I've always said this. I'll never get rid of that thing. Are you crazy? What a great, like, 1, my Fire Emblem games. 2, my Zelda games. Like, that's
It's
enough
a
alone.
Zelda Pokemon machine. That's
Oh,
pretty much what I
JRPG
use it
machine.
for. JRPG machine. Mhm.
Yep.
Cr-
My
so
first
good.
portable. I always bring that up. I never had a portable system ever in Nintendo until 3DS. And when I got started,
Man, what a good one to get.
I think I owned them all. As I look back, like I've had all of these models.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Pig and G-Man both ask us, what was your favorite moment or memory with the 3DS?
Ooh.
That's tough.
I got 2. I don't know if
You
I
can
can.
say 2.
Go ahead.
All
go
right.
ahead.
I think it's Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's probably my first one because that was my first Fire Emblem game as well into the series, and just the characters in there and like the tactics of it. Oh my gosh, it's just so good to go through that game.
Remake
And
it.
so
Remake
it.
Awakening.
remake it, and also Super Smash Brothers for 3DS. I remember having it, and
Good
I'm like,
one.
I could not believe how good this game runs
You
on
The
this
whole
computer
roster,
screen.
a
able to use
console
that.
game on 3DS.
As a controller for the Wii U version of the
And
game.
that's what I did.
that in college. We did that multiple times for an extra controller. It worked well.
It made me believe 3DS. Like when I saw that, I'm like, I don't need a Wii U. I can just play on my 3DS for all the games in Super Smash Brothers. So
It got a lot of them. It got Yoshi's Woolly World. It got Hyrule Warriors. It got a good number of Wii games.
I bought my 3DS for Awakening. That's what got me in the door. So Garrett, that's a good pull.
yeah,
It's tough. There's a lot.
Tough.
Mario Golf was a huge deal for me because I play golf games, as you guys know. But for like 2 years, we had a really good, I would say consistent, like Mario Golf run. kind of like we're doing now with PGA Tour, but way more. We had like 20 or 30
Mm-hmm.
people that were playing, and it actually spawned across like different. So at the time when Mario Golf came out, PSVG wasn't even a thing. I was in Married to the Games server, and I was a member of their community, and I was doing it for them. And then I started PSVG, and after I started getting PSVG together, and I found Nintendo Shack folks that like golf, and I was like, well, I used to do this. Do you want to do it? And they're like, yeah. And it was like all reborn, and we did it again. So I remember I used to make like little, I used to use a Miitomo, the mobile app, to do like little me picks for golf events and stuff. And I posted on Twitter, and like we had a really fun time with that. So that's a great memory. And then I think my favorite memory on Switch is Mario Sun and Moon. Mario Sun and Moon. Pokemon Sun and Moon. I'm looking at the chat and I'm talking.
You said Switch, and then you said Mario Sun and Moon.
Yeah. Pokemon Sun and Moon. My favorite
It's good
Pokemon
stuff.
games.
Oh,
I love them. I think the story was excellent. I played the mess out of them. Also, the first game that like me and Jack played Pokemon really together. Because he was out of age and excited. We were there day one to get the games. We played them together. First time I ever bought two of the same game. I bought one for him, bought one for me, and we started playing together at the same time. So that is also kind of a special memory.
I also have two. One of them, I've talked about this before. Finally completing my living Pokedex in
Right.
the sixth generation of Pokemon. That was a big moment for me because that was kind of when I was getting back seriously into Pokemon after being away from it for some time. I've talked about that before. Something I haven't talked about, I don't think ever really. Not my favorite game, but just a moment that it's not even one moment. It's just a memory that I think will always stick with me was having my 3DS when I was studying abroad in Denmark in college. I did bring my 3DS with me. And so I don't know why, but I have so many memories of playing Pokemon Shuffle the buses and trains and stuff to
Yeah.
get to my classes into the city every day. It was the perfect portable console. And I just played that. Like, I don't know why I kept getting drawn into that game in particular. I think because it was so easy just to play a couple of rounds, when I was on the bus and whatnot. And also doing Street Pass when I was abroad.
Street Pass.
Being able to get all of the different people, especially when I was in Europe, all the Street Passes
That's
I was
so
getting from
cool.
people all over the place was so cool with the 3DS. So just having that little thing with me as I was like hopping around from country to country was like the coolest thing ever.
That's really, really good. You said portable console, which is, I think, my biggest takeaway from 3DS was before I ever had a 3DS, I was kind of looked down on portables. I've said this in the past. I always thought they were like not as good as consoles. And I think that's true. I don't think the Game Boy was good as consoles. I don't think the GBA was as good as the consoles. But I think the 3DS was as good as the Wii or the Wii U. And when the Switch rumors started to come out back when we were investigating and thinking it was NX, for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure you can find me on an early episode of PSVG where I said, I hope it's a portable. I was like, it
wow.
completely changed
And
me.
that
I was
big
like,
for you.
I was like, oh, I hope it's a portal. Please don't be a console. Like, be the next 3DS. Don't be the next Wii U. Little
That's
did we know
insane.
it was both.
Yeah.
But yeah, without 3DS, I don't think I would have ever been in that mindset.
I still have a huge backlog to go through. I have a list of JRPGs on my GG app profile. You can look at it. It's like I got at least,
There's
I don't
so
know,
many.
800 hours.
You're never going to get through.
I'm never going to get there, but I can try.
Cartlife wants to know, what is your favorite edition of the 3DS that you would recommend for collectors to look for should they become even more scarce?
That's
Favorite
good.
edition. Wow.
There's some really
Can I
good
talk about my
ones.
faceplates?
Yeah,
You
you
can
can
talk
talk
about your
about your
faceplates.
faceplate.
Do my faceplates count? Like, I don't know how rare they are anymore, or if like
You have some rare ones though, right?
Count.
You got your
I'm
Japan
gonna just say
exclusive
any
ones.
of the Zelda ones.
Any of the Zelda ones.
the first one I
Cop
bought
out.
was red, and I bought it for Awakening, and then I traded in for the Majora's Mask one, which I still think might be my favorite system.
It's a
The
good one.
Majora's Mask 3DS is gorgeous.
It's
the
so
gold
gorgeous, yeah.
with the inlay, and I hate that game. And I totally bought that system and bought that game to play it again just to try it. And I was like, well, I don't like the game, but this system is beautiful. I have the new Nintendo 3DS, the regular edition, that was discontinued here in America quickly. Like
I just never knew it was in stock. Like
we are an XL type of country, and these come with collectible faceplates, of which
Nice.
I have
So
many
of them.
many faceplates. First and foremost, like I love my Nintendo plates. These are the ambassador plates that are from Japan. These are like one of my favorite things that I have. I've got Animal Crossing plates. I've got Pikachu plates, Pokemon plates. I've got all the plates, like all the plates in the world that you could ever want. The ones that I have most that people know is I have the what are they called? I didn't think I have them. They're over in the drawer. The Hanafuda plates.
Oh,
They're
right,
like
right.
super rare and hard to find. And Carol helped me find them, and I tracked
And
them
you
down.
Open them.
And I totally took them out of the box. And she hates it. Like I would never
the
take the
price went.
ambassador ones out because they were a special, but the Hanafuda ones weren't. Like you could just buy them, and I wanted to use them. Like they were I love them. I think they're gorgeous, and I wanted to use them. I don't have them on now because Jack wanted to play my 3DS, and I was like, let me change faceplates real quick. So
Don't want your grimy hands over it.
yeah, I don't know whose system or whose faceplates are, the most rare or anything like that. But I mean, if I could offer anybody, if you can get any of these in the faceplates today, the faceplates have a high collector value. They're hard to get and they're hard to find. And I know I took a picture of this, but I want to show Rebecca since she's here. I bought custom Wind Waker plates. This is how crazy stupid I am about freaking plates.
Beautiful.
I bought these on
Same
Etsy.
magnet version.
Yes, I
Yeah,
bought these on
yeah.
Etsy, and I wore these for like a year or two. So
Those are nice.
I loved them. So that's my answer.
So I have to say, and I wish I could have gotten this, that Monster Hunter, I think it's 4 or something like that, but it's like chrome silver, like 3DS XL. Oh man, that's a console I would have like bought if I had the money, straight up.
So nice.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yep.
So that's my answer.
So I have 3 that I really like. I don't really have an order that I like them. I just really do like them. The Gold Triforce Zelda one. That one is really nice. I have a really soft spot for the Galaxy one, which
Oh.
I almost bought so many times. Just that
Really?
purple starry galaxy. I don't know why. It's like not even a special game or anything. I just really like how it looks. I came so close to buying that
I think
so
I
many
made
times.
fun of that thing so much when it came out. I was like, "What? We're just slapping wallpapers on plates now?"
It's so pretty. I
It
don't know what
looks
you're talking
good.
about. I think it looks
It
great.
does. It does. I just, I
And
want it to be
stars.
themed. Like, where's Mario in this Galaxy thing?
It's really pretty. And then I think it was the most recent one they did, the Metroid one. I really like that
Samus
one, too.
Returns.
And
Good.
if I was
So
a bigger Metroid fan, I would have been all over that.
Piper says the Hylian Shield, which I had.
That one's good too.
You
I
had that?
I got rid of mine for the Hylian Shield, and I had the Hylian Shield for about like 45 days, and I was like, I miss my faceplates. And I went and bought it all again.
Oh my gosh.
Johnny's selling, flipping over here. Getting back
I did.
stuff.
Like I
Yeah,
moved
all the
it,
Zelda ones, but
and
thought
I was
that
like, I'm going to use this, and I loved it. It's gorgeous. And then I started playing it for like 3 weeks, and I started caving. You could hear it on the show. I was like, I kind of miss my old 3DS. The last story that we had in here is that Mass Effect is heading to the Nintendo Switch. If you believe the where is it? The Portuguese store Gaming Replay. I had to look it up in the paragraph. Jeez. So this leaked out a little bit ago last week and has been kind of corroborated. I was told that this will be announced next week. I was told it is coming to Nintendo Switch, and I was told it might be coming November 7th.
I
So,
hope
different
it does.
things.
I really hope it does.
I don't know if that's correct. Who knows? but that's kind of what I think is a thing. I was told the Switch versions are probably the 360 versions, maybe
Oh, yeah, definitely.
slightly enhanced, but those are those.
Yeah.
And then the consoles are getting full-on remasters, I think, is what it sounds like. So
Ooh, okay.
be excited. I played Mass Effect 2 when it hit backwards compatibility on Xbox. Never got into Mass Effect. Still haven't.
I played Mass Effect 2 earlier this year, and
it
I
killed
really liked
everybody.
it.
You got the worst ending.
I know, it was so sad. So I need to get this so that I can play the first one, fix all of my horrible decisions in the second one, and then play the third one. And then everybody will be alive and happy, and there will not be blood on my hands.
Man,
Nice.
yeah, Mass Effect is a huge gap in my RPG catalog that I know a lot of people love and enjoyed. and I can't believe I missed it because I was really into 360. I don't know how I missed it. So I'll be really glad to play it on Switch or.
I think you would like it, Garrett.
I do too.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's a whole lot of game.
It's long. There's a lot,
Thing
and there's a
about
lot of optional stuff too.
The thing about getting that trilogy, we got that trilogy, we got Borderlands, we got BioShock, with all the new games and Hyrule Warriors and Mario Kart Tour Live or whatever. Like, you got a lot of games to play. You got a lot of things to get. So it's exciting. Actually, I misspoke. Rocket League's free to play, and it's patched in with online stuff, so you don't have to have Nintendo Switch Online to even play.
Guys, Rocket League is one of my favorite games of all time. I have more hours in that collectively over Switch, PS4, or PC than like probably any other game. Like that is so much fun. Nice. Honestly, I play that with my college friends.
I wish
all the time.
Nintendo had taken this opportunity to promote Rocket League and maybe do like an exclusive flag or something and put it in Nintendo Switch Online.
They already, when it came to the Switch, they had the 2 exclusive cars. I would love to see them do more of that because there's so many ideas that they could do.
Yeah, because they could say like, hey, Rocket League's free to play today. All Nintendo Switch Online members, you get this Yoshi car, like, and show them some promotion or something. That would have been awesome. That's a missed opportunity.
Lean into the Mario Kart aspect of it, make it like tied with Mario Kart themes somehow. They could.
Yeah. Rebecca, we're an hour 10, so we're doing good. How about we let's pull 2 questions.
Okay, let's see here. Just 2.
3. Let's do 3 questions.
Brendan wants to know if you had to battle it out with your co-host to stay on the podcast, what Nintendo game would you throw into the mix to compete in?
Listen here, Shaq, folks.
No.
One, I'm not good at games. Nobody out there thinks I am. I've never claimed to be. But guess who is good at games? Rebecca. Rebecca's got game.
You overstate that.
Rebecca's
honestly.
got game. Folks, I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Have you seen me play platformers? Because
I saw her play Golf Story. She's not good at that. But I've seen her play Smash, and she's good. She'll kick your ass. Like, she's real good. So be afraid. Like, don't walk into that battle thinking, oh, some girl can't play. Girl's got game. Real game. My only answer possibly is Mario Golf. I don't think I've ever beaten anybody at any other game ever. I think I'm a good kart player, but I don't use like Metal Mario and stuff like that. I always use Yoshi. Okay. So, but I think I'm a decent.
Kart's so random too.
Yeah,
it's like everyone's like good, and then there's the people that are a little bit better.
Yeah. But golf, I'm good. I'm a good golf player.
So for me, I'm glad Jason's not in this group. Because
I saw Rebecca hold her own against him. Like, she's good. She's really good.
I'm really not that good at Smash.
Let's go. Let's do some Smash Bros. and if it wasn't Smash Brothers, Clubhouse games, let's just play a simple game of chess.
Yeah. Oh, you would beat me in that.
He was like, Don, you want to play? I was like, absolutely not. Nope. Nobody wants to do that, Garrett.
I didn't compete, when I was in middle school or anything like that. I didn't take, summer chess camps for 4 years. So if anyone wants to play chess with me, let me know.
Well, I will beat all of you guys in Splatoon.
Oh no, let's play some Splatoon.
Garrett's good at Splatoon too. Yeah.
Let me get a warm up and then
let's do it.
I was waiting for Garrett to be
Is it 1v1?
I don't know. Maybe Splatoon 3 will have 1v1. We could do it.
That would be good.
I was waiting for Garrett to be like, I wasn't an alternate on the junior U.S. Olympic chess team. It's like, oh man. Didn't Splatoon 1 have 1v1? I feel like I thought.
They had a local multiplayer mode, which was like shoot the balloons.
Is that what it is? Because I remember doing the rubber bands where I would rubber band my Wiimote across my Pro Controller, because the Pro Controller didn't do like the you had to use the sticks, but you wanted to do the aim. Did you ever see that? It was like a player 2 thing. Did you never seen that? Oh, I'm gonna have to find a picture of that. That was a thing. You want to talk about how dumb Nintendo could be at times? That was a real thing.
Yeah, I didn't.
They were like, look, if you get some rubber bands and you tie your Wiimote to your controller, they're like, you can play 2-player local co-op. That was a real thing. I'm not joking.
Okay, I'm going to work in. We have 4 questions. I'm going to work in all 4 of them because this one's separate, and then the other 2, I think we can combine. Action wants to know, how glad are you that Nintendo isn't part of all this console war hullabaloo?
If they were, I'm sure you guys might quit the show. Like, I mean, that seems to be the trend that's going right now.
You'll yell 80% of this show, pretty much.
I'm losing co-hosts
left and right.
Yeah, I love the console wars. Not so much in like getting one over on people. It's just that I love console launches. It's such like a fact-finding mission, and there's so many things that are up in the air and like unconfirmed, and like nobody knows because nobody has it, nobody's seen anything. So it's all reset era and Twitter and screen grabs and Jeff Grubb and like these are all these things that go
Taking
into
jabs at each other.
and I love that stuff. I love finding and I love knowing and I like tracking it all down. I was the exact same way for the Switch launch, and I think for the most part, I think if you're podcasting and stuff, I think most people are. Like everybody loves this stuff, right? I just think sometimes we get too committed to like the flag, right? As I said last time on the Xbox Empire, I think it's a pretty good analogy. We've got to get over like us versus them, where we think us also includes the company, because the company doesn't think us includes us, right? It should be us, the gamers, the players, versus like them, the owners, like the NFL. We're like the players, they own the teams, right? So we may be against each other on Sunday, but come collective bargaining, we should all be together, like demanding the same things.
Yeah, so good analogy.
For the betterment of the players. So while I do take, I will let my opinions fly, and I will say what I believe in. It's all out of good fun and jest. I think most people know that about me, so I like it, but hopefully other folks do, or hopefully my thoughts don't turn so many other people off.
I like getting into console wars, as Donnie said as well. And I just like options, I guess. So, when I'm thinking of console wars, it's just thinking about what one system has advantage over the other and what's the pros and cons. And I think all systems like PC, Switch, Xbox One, PS5, or whatever, all have their pros and cons. It's just whatever you're into and what you enjoy. So, like, just stick to what you enjoy. And like, it's fine to take jabs at something else, but like, if you take a jab, expect some resistance, expect some punches back. Like, there's a reason why they picked that other console. So yeah, I mean, am I glad that, Nintendo's not part of this hullabaloo? Yeah, sure. But like, all in all, it's just what your preference is. And what's your, because eventually I'm going to get all consoles. That's just how we are, right? In the future,
we're just going to have them all too. The moment PlayStation
eventually
makes a legit rectangular horizontal box
that you can carry and tow into your apartment,
I will buy one of those too.
And make sure you have a foundation check on it.
Get the engineers out. Take a look at What are you, Rebecca?
My motto is let people enjoy things. Don't hate on somebody because they want to play something that you don't want to play. Just let them have fun. Let them enjoy things. Have your preference. Everybody else has a preference, but don't hate on it.
You brought it up, Garrett. You talk about Nintendo. It's funny how Nintendo gets thrown in to like prove a point from the other person against the other person. So like a PlayStation person would be like, you do that thing for Nintendo, but we all kind of agree that Nintendo like really doesn't count. Like we all collectively agree that they don't count, but we use them when we can use them to our advantage. So I kind of declare Nintendo like Sweden, like they're out. We all know they're crazy.
They're neutral.
They're doing crazy stuff over here. It doesn't make any sense. There's no rhyme or reason to what Nintendo is doing. So they're out. Like let's just leave them off the board, okay?
All right. So Delvin and Carlos both had very similar questions this week, phrased a little bit differently. Delvin wanted to know what video game song would be the theme song to your life. His would probably be the Mario 3
I'm so sorry. Sean says Switzerland. Did I say Sweden?
You did say Sweden.
Sweden.
We knew what you meant. We knew what you meant.
Thank you. That's why I have good co-hosts. Thank you.
We accept you.
Yeah, Delvin wants to know a video game song that would be the theme song to your life. Carlos wants to know his favorite soundtrack is the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack. He wants to know which game has your favorite soundtrack. So favorite song, soundtrack, whatever you want to answer for that.
So Donkey Kong Country 2 is a very great pick. I like specific songs, not like a whole soundtrack. So the title theme song to Donkey Kong Country 2, that's my jam. I'm just like hearing it like in my head right now. It just reminds me 5 years old me just like playing this game. Another one, Fire Emblem Echoes. The title screen to that song, great tune. They're both very short, but they punch it out and they're so good.
What are you, Rebecca?
Excellent. So I have two favorite soundtracks that are tied for my favorite. Neither of them are strictly Nintendo, but they both appear on Nintendo consoles. Tied for first are Undertale soundtrack and Chrono Trigger soundtrack. They are amazing. I listen to them all the time, like outside of playing the games.
My favorite video game soundtracks are probably Ori and the original Last of Us. I absolutely adore both of those albums. I listen to them all the time. My favorite Nintendo stuff is probably Wind Waker. Dragon Roost is a longtime favorite of mine. Video game song would be the theme of your life.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta think of that.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Can I use eShop music or like the Super Mario World where it's do 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 do, like I hum that all the time. It's just kind of ingrained in me, so I'll choose that one.
I'll say probably like it'd have to be something Zelda, like Zelda's Lullaby or something. I don't know. I don't know what we mean by theme song to our life.
I don't know,
Like,
but
it can mean a lot of things.
Piper said Shovel Knight soundtrack. Yes,
That's real good.
that's a real good one.
Yep.
I would listen to that album nonstop.
That's real good.
So
Real
good.
good. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week here in the Nintendo Shack. Kooplings, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next week for the next episode. Good night, Kooplings.
Bye bye.